make me laugh. All right. In the upper left, in the red, we have our Terran legend. He is
Master Startail Bomber.
His opponent in the bottom right. He is
New challenger FXO Hurricane.
all right. So we're on this map. Again, it's a one-on-one map. I don't know if that means we're going to see anything special as far as builds tailored to one-on-one maps, but we'll see.
You know, I don't think so. You know, specifically on a 1-versus-1 map, your tailored build would normally be some sort of proxy, and it doesn't look like either player's going to do that. Bomber, he'll either go Reaper opening or Command Center first, I think, Tasteless.
Yeah, I think so. Probably into just a macro game.
Yeah, probably a lot of Marines. Hurricane, a little bit harder to predict exactly what he'll do. But we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So, Artosis, how are you doing today? We got a little bit of downtime here until the builds pick up.
You know, to be frank, Tasteless, I was really hoping a second Protoss would get out of that last
Yeah,
group.
me too, actually.
But based on like how they played, they didn't really deserve it. Which is
That's
something
true.
you do have to take into consideration. I'm really hoping that Hurricane and Rain step it up and actually play like players that deserve round of 16.
Yeah, I got to agree with that.
Because
yeah.
I mean, everyone and their brother knows that I love Younghua, but he underperformed a bit, and so did Squirtle.
And, you know, from the moment I saw that missed force field there, I was surprised. And, you know, a lot of bad plays, losing his third base twice in 2 different games. That was a little bit shocking as well.
Well, it is a Reaper opening from Bomber. No big surprise here. Reaper opening, pretty solid on this map overall. Pretty solid really on any map overall, I would say.
Yeah.
It's just, you always get at least 2 scouts with it.
And that's nice because there's a lot of different things that Protoss can do early on in this matchup. So if you're able to get in there and get a peek at what that is, you can usually counter it.
Yeah. And what a bargain it is to Tasteless. I would completely, if Protoss had something of similar cost that got me 2 scouts that early in the game, I gotta tell you, I'd open that every game without exception.
The Zealot with the rocket pack on his back.
Yes, exactly.
Can still only do melee attacks.
I'm fine with that. He doesn't even have to attack, just as long as he gets in there and sees stuff.
All right, we have the second command center coming in here. Again, all very standard stuff. Bomber's build is actually one that wouldn't be bad to borrow if you're going to ladder online.
And, you know, in fact, he's even grabbing that really quick engineering bay, but very good scout by this probe. Of course, if he does go back and see the engineering bay, that's a little bit helpful as well. I don't think he's actually seen it, though. Yeah, he hasn't.
That probe is stuck. Is he actually going to get that? The scouting probe?
He got out.
It gets away? Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Wow, Tasteless.
Protoss power.
Yeah, your Protoss
You're a biased caster.
But he didn't see the eBay, but he'll be able to figure that out a little bit later. This is super common to see an eBay at this time right now. Get that 1-1, some medevacs out, stim combat shields, and put some pressure on. And that's what I do expect to see out of Bomber, of course. In fact, that's the only thing he can do with this opening.
Yeah. Looks like the Reaper's going to try to come up here. And he will manage to get away. He did get to peek and see that Nexus there. Little harass here by the Mothership Core, which will also get away.
Yeah, just trying to pick off anything he can. He still hasn't seen the eBay, but again, not the most impactful thing to not see it yet. Like, you can scout it a little bit later, and it's not really going to change your build order much.
All right, we have both players just teching very gradually here. We don't know exactly where from here the turn's going to go just yet, but we'll see. All right, another gateway here. This is a very good follow-up after you get that Robo Bay and the expansion up.
This game, in fact, so far is exactly standard. Oh, wait, no. We have actually an additional gate going up, so never mind. It is a little bit different here from Hurricane. He's looking like he's going to put on a lot of pressure. You know, going up to those 4 gates, but he does have the Robo too, so it's not all in, and it will be a bit slower than what it could be. But if he does some decent damage with it, that's going to be very, very nice, because he's left himself tack. He's continued to make probes, and yeah, he's well set for. He's in good shape.
He's in good shape right now. Yeah. All right, so yeah, I mean, both players are, I wouldn't say stabilized, but the game is normalized, you know? And when that forge comes up here, we'll probably just go ahead and see that armor upgrade come here. Very important, probably one of the most important upgrades in the game here for Protoss.
Yeah. Now, we do have the really quick Warp Prism, and generally speaking, what this means is that he's going to go into Twilight and do a little bit of harassment. And he does have the 4 gates, so this doesn't actually have to be the pressure, because normally when you get the Warp Prism, you go right into 5 gates. But in fact, with the amount of sentries he's making, Tasteless, I think I know what's going on here.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that Warp Prism drop over there. The one that you can do either outside or on the high ground or on the low ground, but you force field the ramp.
Yes.
Isolate their army and just get in there.
This has been gaining popularity recently in this matchup. So we'll see if Bomber actually is ready for it. He actually has a group of Marines in a very good spot to try to prevent this.
Yeah, and you know, one thing to note is that when you're doing a drop like this, it's not only important does the Terran take damage, or does the Terran not take damage, but also does a Warp Prism make it out along with the sentries? Because if you lose all that, you're in a lot of trouble. All right, here we go.
Well, we'll see if he can actually get this to work. He's losing a couple sentries.
Okay,
no, he picks them up. Good micro
Oh my
so
God,
far.
I can't believe he actually picked that up. I didn't.
Yeah,
he had that at first.
That almost went really poorly.
You know what was weird about it though is when he dropped the sentries out again with the Guardian Shield. You know, like that was clearly not going to work to begin with.
You know what? He's killed 5 SCVs. It was like very good micro by Hurricane. I would have screwed that up and lost everything to be frank, but he saved a lot of it. It wasn't actually quite worth it though, I would say.
No, I definitely think it was not quite worth it there.
He still has a Warp Prism, so it's not like a terrible thing, but the 2 sentries lost and some Zealots lost and slower tech to kill 5 SCVs total. I do have to say not quite.
The Dark Shrine follow-up is pretty interesting as well. It looks like what he might end up doing is actually hitting the front here with a huge army while force fielding the ramp and warping Dark Templars into the main.
Could be.
We'll see if that's correct, but that's what it's looking like to me.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some Dark Templar drops going on. And of course, you can always make some Archons, maybe defend a little bit with them as well.
Speaking of defend, by the way, Protoss is going to have to defend this double drop coming over here, headed towards his main.
Well, he's got a Colossus on the way. His charge is almost done. He does have an Immortal as well, so shouldn't be the hardest thing for him to defend. He's got to be careful, though, because if he does take damage from something like this, that would be really, really bad. He does not want to
scan over here. He knows that will not work, and he picks up and leaves with minimal damage.
All right, that Dark Shrine is done. He is warping in at the Warp Prism. 3 of them, in fact. Now, if he can get these in the main base and spread them and hold this little counterattack that's coming up as well as the drop that's going to come at the same time as the counterattack, he's in fantastic shape.
Yeah, Bomber will not be able to hold this harass over here, but at the same time, if Hurricane's defense isn't properly set up, he could lose a lot more than we... Yeah. It's hard to predict how much he could lose, but because it'll depend on execution, but he could lose a lot here.
Okay, very well timed out Nexus cannon there. Now we do have this attack up at the front. In the meantime, the DPs are in the main base. He should be spreading them. It looks like they're all going to the mineral line. Well, of course, that's going to do a lot more damage, but...
I don't think he knows just yet. Now he does. He's pulling him out. The Nexus goes down. Not enough anti-air to stop this. Is the other Nexus going to go down as well? The answer is no as they pick up and leave. The DT drop has been deflected. But right now, there is a big empty space right... Oh, my God. Okay, he will not get this as well, but there's a big empty space right now in the middle of the Protoss' 3rd and the 1st where that 2nd was picked off.
Yeah. Well, he does have to remake it. Now, Hurricane isn't 100% dead because he did already start the 3rd, like, very early on and hasn't lost it. So, he's temporarily hurt, but Bomber's only on 2 bases, so it's not like the game is over.
Well, too bad he lost that Warp Prism. That's no more harassing there for him. That should allow Hurricane to stabilize here and get that 3rd base back up and running. Supplies right now for Terran, 121 to the Protoss is 102.
All right, I was going to say fire bats. Yeah, right. Hellbats on the way.
Hellbats. Fire bats are so StarCraft before Brood War.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they certainly were.
They certainly were.
This is so funny. I saw some funny quote on Sake's profile at the Home Store Cup. I don't know if he said it or someone made it up for him, but like, Hellbats should... they get healed already by medevacs. They need to get stim as well, so they can be a real bio unit.
That's so funny.
I just thought of that. That tickled me when I read it. Anyways, you notice the supply is pretty even still. Terran can be up in supply a little bit against Protoss as long as they stay defensive. Hurricane actually being pretty terribly supply blocked. He has no pylons buildings at 126 for quite some time before starting any. So he's going to be behind in units.
SCV's pulled.
Ooh, that's good timing.
Not a tremendous amount, though. Just enough to maybe eat through the defenses here and take another Protoss Nexus.
I think it might be enough. We have, for splash damage, exactly 1 Colossus and 1 Archon. That's actually really poor for that. And
well, we'll see. This angle here is pretty good, though, for the Protoss. That's pretty hard to engage into.
Well, here we go. He is coming up. Those Hellbats coming up as well. The single, he does take down that single Colossus.
You know what? I think you're right. I think this is just barely enough.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough Zealots here to actually sponge up any damage here. Now this DT is doing a lot of damage over here in the main. Looks like the second goes down once again.
Yeah.
Now he might not go up the ramp and instead just go to the third base and take that out.
Well, at this point,
I think basically
basically over.
Terran has his army that just can't die.
Yeah, and he's going to kill the third. And when you go down to 1 base, you're just kind of dead.
Yeah.
He is dealing a lot of damage over on the other side. He's killed a lot of SCVs as well, but his army is so tiny.
He's going to chase him back here. We may see the Protoss tap out with a GG in just a moment here, as it looks like Bomber has rightfully won this game, game number 1.